Hi, everyone. I want to say a few words about how we'll be organizing our class. And I want to point out that I'll often be communicating with you in this fashion via video, sometimes simply speaking from my home, at other times from our classroom or my office, and often over a presentation as I speak to whatever slides I'm showing you. This does not mean that we will not meet in person if you're in Shanghai, and it does not mean that we won't meet via Zoom if you're not in Shanghai. Rather, it means that we will be putting together a schedule that will try to balance the needs of everyone and give you all the opportunity to collaborate with your classmates while also working individually with me across different modes and platforms. If you're in Shanghai, I'll be seeing you weekly, either for an individual conference or as part of a group meeting. If you're not in Shanghai, I'll be seeing you weekly, again, either as part of an individual conference or as part of a group meeting. So the way the class will work is as follows. At the beginning of the week, I'll be sharing with you some recorded content like this that will accompany your readings or the films that you're watching. You'll have assignments to post to the blog or to work in Google Docs on a draft of an essay. At times, I'll also be giving you all informal assignments where I'll ask you to present and make small videos for your classmates so they can see the work you're doing in your groups. Otherwise, it will be like a normal class. You'll be reading, you'll be writing, you'll be watching some films and videos. That's the first part of the class, right? The first part of what will be a normal week. The second half of the class, the Thursday meeting, will be a little different. That's when we'll meet individually or in small groups. So every other week, I'll meet with your group, and we'll have a group discussion where I facilitate, but really it's about you all in your group talking through your thoughts and responses to the materials we're engaged with. On other weeks, every other week, your group will still meet, but I won't meet with you. Instead, I'll give you some form of assignment that your group is to execute. On those weeks, however, I will frequently be meeting with you individually for individual conferences. When we meet individually, I'll be checking in with you, talking about specific points of your writing in particular, and asking you questions to help you think more deeply about the material and how you might write about it more effectively, asking you about research, lines of research inquiry that you might be interested in pursuing, and giving you personalized individual feedback on your academic writing. I know this is a little bit complicated, the way I'm describing it, but I think once we have a schedule mapped out, it will run very smoothly. It will all be mapped out in Google Calendar, and I think we'll slip into a good routine. I had hoped to have this all organized in advance, but given the realities of not knowing precisely who would be where and when, it was very difficult to plan. And I also wasn't sure what the mixed mode experience in the room would be like. And I think the university has done a fantastic job of equipping our classrooms with cameras that track motion and multiple screens. And yet I know that for those of you who are not in the classroom, watching a recording of a Zoom of a classroom session that's partly live and partly Zoomed or whatever is not ideal. I know too that if you're in the classroom And I'm asking you to have your laptop open so that you can effectively see people who aren't in the classroom. We're all on our computers anyway, right? So we're going to break the class up a little bit into smaller sessions so that we can take advantage of the technology if we need to rely heavily on that to communicate. And if we're here in person, so we can take advantage of being here in person and meet face to face without always having to also factor in people who aren't here via Zoom. And one more thing as the semester progresses, I hope some of you find your way to Shanghai and that we can, reconfigure things to accommodate more of you here in person. I also will be thinking hard about ways to get everybody to interact with everybody more effectively. I mean, the blog we'll use for that. You'll be commenting on one another's posts across both sections, so everyone will be in conversation. But it's not the same as talking to somebody face-to-face, even through a screen, even through Zoom. So, I will be looking for ways to try and bring us together as a full group, more effectively moving forward. Any suggestions are welcome. I know many of your classes are being conducted in similar fashion, and perhaps something that you think really works well would work well for us, and perhaps you know about some technologies or possibilities that you think would really work well for what we're doing. Right now, we'll rely on Google Drive and the G Suite, Zoom, and occasionally NYU classes. I'll be making some recommendations when you're starting to make presentations for applications that you might use to help you do that. But we'll try to keep things fairly simple, right? We don't want to try to use too many different new applications. I know you're already overburdened if you're doing, especially if you're doing this remotely, with trying to balance things and get enough sleep and lead a healthy lifestyle that's not just constantly glued to the computer. All right, that's it for now. I will be asking you to join the new schedule today. You might not see this until later, but I'll be asking you, and I'll send out an email to that effect. So today might be a little messy, but I think we'll settle into a groove next week and follow that groove all the way through to the end of the semester. I thank you again for your patience as we sort this out. And I look forward to working with you all individually, in groups, and perhaps by the end of the semester, everybody in a room together. That would be nice. All right. Thank you for, again, your time, patience, and generosity as I figure this out.